everybody to another Not Just Gaming movie review. I'm AJ. We got Bobby with us here today, and today we're going to review Kevin Smith's newest movie, Yoga Hosers.
Woo!
This movie's been on a limited tour thus far, so it's been in certain spots, mostly conventions.
Certain cities and stuff.
Yeah, got a chance to check it out at his birthday premiere in Count Basie in Red Bank. So we're gonna do the first half spoiler, second half. First part spoiler free, second part spoiler. We'll have a little bratzi on the bottom.
Yes,
between.
We'll drag a bratzi around.
Yeah, and I'll put a big overlay that says spoiler. So overall, I'm gonna say the movie was okay.
It was okay. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like amazing.
Yeah,
but I thought it was hilarious.
I found it funny. It was definitely more tame than most of his other work that he's done. Personally, it wasn't my cup of tea. I just didn't.
And that's the way his movies are. He makes them for his major fan base. He just loves his silly kind of humor that it's just. I mean, I loved it. I mean, as a movie wise, if you're gonna sit there and pick it apart, it wasn't the greatest thing, but I thought it was hilarious. And
I thought
anything that makes me laugh as much as it made me laugh is something I'm gonna love. That's just the way I am with movies like that.
No, I mean, if I don't look at it as a actual piece of film, and I just look at it as just a fun movie, I enjoyed it. But like I said, for a film perspective, it wasn't the best. But
I like to compare it to those kind of parody movies that make fun of other really successful lines.
Yep, exactly.
I just thought it was kind of like that, where it's stupid, but it's still really funny at the same time.
Exactly.
And you can sit there and watch it, even though it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Acting wise, I mean, they were pretty good.
Yeah, they were pretty solid
for their first big movie. I'm talking Harley Quinn Smith and Lily Rose Depp, who's Johnny Depp's daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, they were really good, and Johnny Depp was in it too. His character.
Johnny Depp.
Oh
in that
my
movie
God.
Was a stealer. I gotta say, he was just literally
so good.
That character was Guy Lapointe. For those of you that know Kevin Smith,
in these
yeah,
it's a weird French Canadian accent. It's fucking
sticking
great.
in the butthole.
Yeah,
it was really weird. But for those of you that have seen Kevin Smith's other movies, Guy Lapointe was introduced in Tusk, was brought over to this movie, and will be also in Moose Jaws, his final
his Northern Trilogy, as he likes to call it, which can't wait for.
Other standouts in this movie, the cameos obviously are always on point. I don't want to say until we get to the spoiler section who I'm referring to. We will get there.
There was multiple.
Yeah,
really.
As always, there's always a couple from his other movies. Also, definitely a lot of one-liners from referencing other.
Yeah,
stuff.
there was a lot of references back and forth from other movies he did.
Well, this is basically, his wife put it this way, but if you think about it, this is basically the Canadian version of Clerks.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, both his daughter and somebody else behind the counter working in a convenience store, the A to Z, as they called it.
It was almost, and I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, and this might piss some people off, but I feel like it was Clerks 3, but not. You know what I mean?
Clerks 2.5.
It was almost Clerks 3, but it wasn't.
This was to fill the void.
It was he was oh, you know what? Maybe this, I can get away with it. But of course he wasn't doing that.
Yeah. Basically, basic premise of this movie is both Colleens, who were played by Kevin Smith's daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter, work in the convenience store, as I said, A to Z. The town is buried upon
a Nazi sleeper cell kind of deal.
There's an underground Nazi regime who froze himself, and he manages to create his own Nazi army.
He's like Canadian Hitler.
Yes. Who was played by Ralph Garman. I think that's not really a spoiler. And he develops his own bratwurst army of Nazi soldiers, which are called Bratzi.
Mm-hmm.
Who were played by Kevin Smith. Kind of creepy looking.
Yeah, they were. And at the viewing, they had Ming from Comic Book Men in a life-size Bratzi costume, and it was terrifying.
And it's really creepy in person.
Yeah, and it was funny because Harley came out on the stage after Ming introduced her in the suit. And she was like, "Oh my god, that's the first time I've actually seen like that up close. It's everything in the movie was like CGI, but seeing that in like a life size, she was like legit terrified. It took her like a minute to get herself together on the stage so that she could introduce Kevin."
Yeah, I would say this movie really reminds me of for those of you that have seen it. I don't know if you've actually seen it. Scott Pilgrim. It's got that very like kind of nerdy. Like tech
quick
feel,
jab,
like well, I can't really say too much right now, but certain ways that the films were done, certain animations they use are very reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we can go to the spoiler section now, right? I don't unless you have anything else that you want to say.
No, I think
we're gonna give you 5 seconds, and Bratzi's gonna start flying all over the place. Woo! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everything from this point is a spoiler. But basically, what I'm referencing to for Scott Pilgrim is the movie starts out where it introduces the characters through these girls are very heavily dependent on their cell phones. So they're taking pictures, using Instagram, and they segue to each character through like an Instagram post.
Yeah.
It had like that art style of stuff you would have saw in Scott Pilgrim, as well as when they were like in some of the fight sequences. You had like the bam, the pop, and all that other stuff. It was all very reminiscent of that.
You know what it reminded me of too a little bit? Remember the show iCarly? How they used to do that too? It was kind of like that. It was like just like a little quick thing on that. It was almost like they put like a Facebook profile picture into the movie, which was kind of cool. And I thought they were really funny. The first couple were funny, and then it got into characters that weren't very important, and then I was like, but like,
but. Like I said, for a fun movie concept, I really enjoyed it. Definitely not something you can see winning an Oscar ever. But I really enjoyed it. Other highlights, as we said before, cameos. We had Jason Mewes made an appearance. Obviously, Johnny Depp was in it as Guy Lapointe. We had Stan Lee making an appearance.
Yes.
He hasn't been in a Kevin Smith movie since Mallrats.
Yeah.
But he was the security guard.
No, he was
the 911
operator, yeah. There was one more major celebrity, and I can't remember his name for the life of me.
Who did he play? I can't remember.
He was real quick. I forget what... Oh, I saw him on Twitter the other day, and I forget what his name is. He's in an upcoming comic book movie. I don't remember.
I can't think of who it is. Oh! The yoga guy.
Well, yeah, fuck with him as well.
What the hell is his name? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, me either. Damn, we're the worst.
Yeah. No, I honestly didn't even realize it was him because he was the same guy that was in Tusk.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that got turned into a walrus. I didn't realize that.
It's the guy that's in Tusk.
I'm trying to think of his name.
Justin Long.
There you go.
There we go. We got it.
Yeah, Justin Long was in it, and I can't think of the last cameo that you're referring to. I can't even remember the sequence in which the movie you're referring to.
We'll figure it out, and I'll annotate it or whatever later.
But the movie, the plot ran pretty smooth for the most part. I mean, it was a little weird when they locked the girls up. Basically, what happens is these two girls think that these guys like them, and they just want to.
Yeah, that was kind of off-putting to me.
This is where I got lost.
I was like, is this relevant? It was just.
It wasn't exactly.
It was just like a random. I feel like they could have put in something more, something more pertinent to the story, or something with a more chunk of humor to it.
Yeah, like basically what happens is
that was definitely the lull.
That's what I'm saying. Is that's where I kind of got lost.
It bottomed out.
If you took that chunk out, it probably would have been a better movie because it would have flowed better.
Yeah.
I mean, it introduces the girls to the Bratzis.
Yeah.
But other than that, you could have did that in any way, shape, or form in the movie. You could have had just a customer in the store, and then the Bratzis.
Well, there was that one. Harley Mornstein from Epic Mealtime was in it.
Oh yeah.
Real quick.
But basically. You could have had them. The Bratzis like to go into people's asses. Is the nicest way to put it.
Anal penetration.
Yes. So you could have had that happen to any customer in the store, not necessarily two guys that they thought liked them, and then just wanted to rob their souls or whatever.
Yeah, they were like devil worshippers.
Yeah. So I mean, that was kind of a that's part of what deterred me in the movie, because it kind of broke up the plot, but not in an effective manner.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie was a pretty solid plot overall, minus that.
Yeah.
I mean, you had these girls, they were trying to do what they wanted to do. They got stuck always working, like in any of his Clerks movies.
No. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yep, they made reference to that. Blatantly, obviously. It wasn't even like they tried to, like, hide it. It was just like...
As soon as she said that, I looked over to Brian O'Halloran, who was 2 rows in front of us in the theater, and I was just... I mean, of course, I couldn't really see him in the darkness, but I wanted to see if he, like, said something or reacted or whatever.
And then you also had Ralph Garman doing all of his famous impressions that he does.
Oh, yeah, his impressions were awesome.
He does Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Al Pacino. He does a lot of good ones. But overall, I would say I'd give this movie like... I'd give it like a 7, 7.5. I'll make it easy. I'll say 7.5.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with 8. Okay. Just because the humor factor to it. Like, I laughed a lot. I just thought it was... Yeah. A lot of his movies recently haven't been going with like the comedy route, yeah. And that's me as a fan is what I really liked.
Yeah, like Red State was
Red State was super serious. Oh, super good too. Yeah. Like Tusk was like serious and it was funny too. But like this was like I just like laughed the entire. I mean, you were there. I laughed a lot. I thought it was very funny as a movie wise. Like I said before, like as a movie wise, it was enjoyable. Not like the best, but as something funny, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean. Minus, like I said, the only thing that deters me in my rating is the plot. It was a solid movie otherwise. Mm-hmm. It's just that one section where it basically just feels like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Where it didn't really need to be in there. That kind of deterred me. But overall, it was a solid movie. I got my laughs in. And I relatively enjoy Kevin Smith stuff.
Yeah.
It's not Oscar worthy, but it's got its cult following, and that's why he's still doing what he's doing. So
does it for what he wants to see and what he thinks his fans would like, and he doesn't. What's great about him is he doesn't try to please the critics. No, and I guess we're kind of critics right now, but we're fans as it is. So
yeah,
I mean, he doesn't go out of his way to be like, well, if I did this, then everyone's gonna be mad, so I can't do it. Or if I do this, like,
he just
the critics
does it because he wants to do it.
He's like, he doesn't even give a shit about the critics anymore, and that's great because then there's so many times where really what the directors or writers or producers think the critics are going to say deters them from doing stuff that fans will really enjoy in the movie, and that's what's so good about this movie and a lot of his other stuff is that he doesn't give a fuck.
It's kind of good to see this resurgence of movies that are built around what fans want to see, not built around what Hollywood wants to see. Because nowadays you don't really see that. You only got all these Oscar titles that do what they have to do.
Yeah,
just to get...
they just want that Oscar just so they could get money. But this is about something better.
Making a movie that fans will come and see time and time again. And if anything, if that's not the only thing you make, they'll go see all your other stuff. Which is definitely how Kevin Smith works.
Yeah.
All his fans see his other stuff. But, yeah. I think we're good. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check out other reviews. We have another Suicide Squad review also. That's just coming out, so make sure you guys check it out. Bye.
Bye.